Hello, this is CT Woods Art, and I'm excited today to bring you some tips and tricks on the beginning oil painter that's going to help you develop as an artist. So, I want to try to get right into what I'm trying to show you guys. So, this video won't be too long to where it won't be one of those things that will bore you out. So, without further ado, I'm going to try to get started. It's three things that I want to show you. I want to show you the color wheel. I want to show you a book that I use exclusively for color theory and get an understanding of color and paints and the different techniques of blending and all that stuff. And then I also want to show you how what I use to actually make my own paint and the process. So without further ado, this device here. Make sure when you start to painting and really getting into colors that you get you a color wheel. You can get this from Hobby Lobby or either Michael's, and basically it gives you the different types of colors and what you mix with them to get you the different shades and darkness of that particular color, and then you are able to see the different types of colors and how they coincide with each other opposite the color wheel. So you can read all the little information that's on the color wheel. I won't go over those, but when you purchase this, you'll be able to read it and get a greater understanding of how to match your background colors with the actual subject of your paintings to make the colors and stuff be more cohesive across your pieces that you paint. So this is something that I use a lot. It's kind of self-explanatory. So you basically need to get you one of these. They're not that expensive, and you need to have it in your arsenal in your studio. So that's number one. Number two is this book here, the color mixing recipes for portraits. And then they also make one that if you're into landscapes, you can basically buy this one that's for color mixing recipes for oil and acrylics. And there is another book, but it's a lot thicker, and I think that would be kind of confusing at this point. So if I were you, I would invest in these two books. One has got a blue binder, and then one has got a red binder. But anyway, just to give you an idea of what this book is all about, you can buy this book from off of Amazon, or you can actually buy this book from Hobby Lobby. It's really not that expensive, but what makes this book so good, and I'm going to try to turn the pages with one hand, I'm holding my camera with the other, is that it goes into great detail of all the colors that you'll need. It starts with oil and acrylics and gives you all the colors that are actually used in this book to make the various colors. And then it also, if you're doing this in watercolor, it also gives you the paints in watercolor. So I have all of these, which I've bought over time, and I actually use them. So the book, I like it because it's a spiral back book, because you're going to be flipping the pages, going back and forth. So the book is really, really durable. I like the fact that it's got the spiral binder. It allows the book to lay flat, and the pages doesn't move when you're trying to have the book open. Because one of the things you'll find out when painting is that you're always going to have just one hand free. Most of the time you're going to have a brush in your hand, or either a palette knife or whatever have you. So you always need a book. If you're trying to go buy a book or something, doing something, you need to have where the book will lay flat. So this spiral binder was genius. It shows you here how to bring the paint and put it onto the clear graph that's in the back of this book. I don't use it because I'm able to eye out the proportions and get them pretty close to being correct. So I don't use this graph, but for beginners, you can use this graph. It's a clear plastic graph that comes in the back of the book. I'll show it to you in the other book here. You can take it out. That's this here, and it's plastic, and you can take it out and put it back. But what I find, I've used it a couple of times, it gets dirty. It gets covered with paint. And if you're not very persistent and diligent about cleaning it, eventually you won't see the marks and stuff. No way. So it just, to me, it just adds more work to clean up. And I'm very particular about paint being all over everything. And as you can see, this book has been used a lot, and you don't see a speck of paint on it anywhere. So that's how particular I am about keeping my studio clean with paint. So as you go into the book, it's showing you all the different shades and the colors. If you run them down in the block, it'll tell you what you add to that particular color to make this whatever color you choose. So this is like a graph. But what I really wanted you to get, it gives you an understanding of the color wheel and how to use it and how to get the lighter and darker tones. It shows you how to take one particular color and add the black and white to it, and how it will make the values and the hues and the tint and all that stuff. So all of this information is basically explained to you, and this is called color theory. And you need to know this when you really get into painting. It's one of those things you're just going to have to deep dive into it and take your time and read it and do some experimenting with your palette and your paints and mix some of this stuff, and eventually it'll make some sense to you. I will be going over this stuff in later videos on how to actually mix some of these colors, but just for this video and today, I just wanted to go over with this book very briefly to show you how beneficial this tool is to your studio and your art arsenal. It also shows you how the different colors are used in different areas of the face, because as you know, depending on how the light is coming in and how the light is reflecting off of the skin or whatever you have the cool and the warm areas and whatnot. And then there are certain shadings that you do around the eyes, nose, ears, and mouth and all that stuff. Now, some of you watching this video, you don't do portraits, you don't do human sculptures, but here's the thing. A lot of this technique that you use on this, you will use on any type of still light. If you're painting grapes or you're painting apples or anything like that, anytime you're trying to make something go from 2D to 3D, you have to understand the shading and how certain shadows are going to be cool and some of them are going to be warm, depending on how the light is shining on an object. It also goes over basically the different colors of the lips, as far as the areas of the lips, whether it be male or female. It also goes into details of how to paint ears, things of that nature. And I have learned so much. Now, these skin tones is very important, because when you're painting from a photo source, you want to try to get the skin tones as close as possible. Now, one of the things that I learned as a portrait artist is that every individual has a nationality, and their nationality a lot of times depict the color of their skin and the different tones that are involved in creating their particular color. So this book here goes into great detail with the colors and to get the skin tones for certain individuals. So when you look at this book here, it will give you skin tones for all different colors. So what you have to do is you have to pick out which one matches the subject in which you're trying to paint. Now, this book doesn't have the names of the particular skin tones in it, but now the other book that I have will give you the nationality, which I thought was pretty cool. And when you do that, you're able to mix those colors and put them in tubes. And I save them because it takes a very, very long time to mix these colors. And I find that it just makes it easy for me to go and pre-mix these colors, all of these, and I put a number on them that corresponds with the number on the actual paint swash, and then I put the name of the color on the tube. Now, I'm looking to see the names of these different skin tones. And right now, I don't see the names, but they are named. Let's see. Let me see, can I find, because I've used several of these. And basically, you find the actual master tone that's close to the actual picture, the actual painting or the subject, and then this will give you all of the different shades and the different variations of the cool and dark shadow areas, and then these are basically your highlight values. So trust me, when you get deep into portrait painting, you will definitely need this book. So I recommend this book. I highly recommend this book. Once again, you can get this book from Hobby Lobby or off of Amazon. And basically, it goes over in great detail the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, and all the different variations on how to paint the eye and in those particular things. Then it also goes into great detail of how to use color to paint hair. Basically, all you have to do is go through these and choose your subject's hair color, and then you're able to mix the paint that will be able to use to actually paint that subject's hair color, and so on and so forth. So, and then in the back of the book, if you do watercolors, it gives you different variations of watercolors and what you use to make these colors. And what I do is the ones that I like using the most, I will mix them up and put them in tubes and put them in a numbered row. And when I paint a particular portrait, I go to those tubes and I don't have to spend hours at a time pre-mixing paint, because believe it or not, it takes a long time to mix up those paints and to squirt out the paint and accurately mix them to where they come up with the colors that you see in the book. Now, one of the things that I do recommend is that you do this because you can spend a lot of time squirting out paint and you don't use it and you end up throwing it away. And one of my pet peeves that I have developed over the years is that I hate wasting paint. I really do hate it. I hate scraping paint off my palette, putting it in a napkin, balling it up, and throwing it in the trash. I mean, that just seems very, very, very wasteful to me. So I try my best not to waste paint. And when I do the next video, I'm going to try to do a video where we actually go into making up one of these recipes, and then I'm going to show you how I put the paint into the tubes and seal the tubes. And there are special tools that you can use to seal the tubes, and they come with the tops and everything to where you're able to squirt the paint out onto your palette and use it. And it does not dry, and it lasts for years. And I'll show you how I label my paint and all that stuff. So at this point, when it comes down to making my paints that I use to do my portraits and stuff, I don't really buy any paint other than to buy the base paint that I use to mix the colors. But in terms of the colors themselves, I mix all of those myself. So just to recap, make sure that you invest in the color wheel. and invest in the recipe books. There is two, and you can have this in your arsenal, and it will really, really help you increase your productivity. I just wanted to tap in today and give you all a short video just to give you some tips that will help you along the way. And hopefully in the future, you come back and subscribe to my channel and catch all of my other videos. And if you have any questions about the book that I just showed you, the color wheel that I just showed you, feel free to comment in the comments, and you can ask me a question and I'll make sure that I answer back promptly. And subscribe to my channel, like this video, that I can improve things and make a better channel to where I can bring you more information that's going to help you as an artist develop and get better at your craft and what you're trying to do as an artist. Because at the end of the day, I always tell my viewers that we're lighting up the world one painting at a time. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next video of information to help the new oil painting artists become better at their craft. Thank you. Y'all have a good day, and I hope to talk and show you something good soon. Bye-bye.